the fake Comey memo story. We saw the Russian influence story from the usual suspects, the New York Times and Washington Post. Let's get to some of these headlines and break it down further. Trump told Russians that firing nutjob Comey eased pressure from investigation. Is this story? And of course, Maggie Haberman, famous propagandist against America, against Trump, out of the New York Times. New York Times, partially owned by Carlos Slim, Mexican billionaire drug lord who hates America. And so they go through here. And these are all anonymous sources. If they care about America so much, they would step forward and say, I denounce Donald Trump as a traitor to this country because he's a Russian agent. And here I am. I'm willing to testify in front of Congress, God, and the American people. But they won't do it because either these are leakers in his administration, undermining him from within, telling lies, or these are just flat out made up stories. And at this point, with the New York Times and Washington Post and mainstream media, I wouldn't doubt it. They go on to say, I just fired the head of the FBI. He was crazy, a real nut job. Mr. Trump said, according to the document, which was read to the New York Times by an American official, I faced great pressure because of Russia. That's taken off now. Supposedly because he fired Comey, even though all the Democrats 2 weeks earlier were calling for him to be fired. And the Comey memo that they used to cover up the Seth Rich murder story and its investigation that was starting to break is proven to be false, or Comey committed perjury because on May 3rd, he testified to Congress that Trump never tried to influence the investigation. And supposedly his memo says that he did. But we have him on record saying that that never happened. So it's getting ridiculous levels of propaganda. And it's been said, and it is true, it's Soviet Union level Pravda level propaganda. They want to call somebody Nazis. This is propaganda right out of Goebbels, Joseph Goebbels' playbook, the chief propagandist of the Nazi Party in Hitler's Germany. Continuing this story, Russian probe reaches current White House official, people familiar with the case. An unnamed source says this about an unnamed official. So it's a big nothing burger story. But all the networks are hyperventilating again about this story. It's nothing. It's basically made up. Anonymous sources about anonymous official. What are these people even talking about? It's completely and utterly ridiculous. Continuing. First on CNN, more fake news. Russian officials bragged they could use Flynn to influence Trump sources. Really? And again, it's anonymous sources. They're just making stuff up at this point. Or if the sources care that much about America, come out and show your face and call out Donald Trump and his administration face to face. Continuing, journalism's epic week, surprises, scoops, and a newspaper war. Again, out of the fake news, CNN, talking about the Washington Post and New York Times. More fake news, propaganda, and lies. Continuing, networks the White House leaks we are receiving are aimed at undermining the president. Or is it undermining the credibility of the mainstream media? Because again and again and again, these leaks are proven to be false. And if you can't corroborate it with an actual source instead of anonymous source, then what are you even talking about? You're talking nonsense, propaganda. Continuing, out of the Daily Beast, Trump officials, he looks more and more like a complete moron. Okay, they're trying to get under Trump's skin here, right? In the wake of yet another Russian-related bombshell, Trump aides despaired because they know President Trump only has himself to blame. I mean, seriously? Another bombshell? Anonymous sources? Anonymous figure named? A lot of people are saying, okay, this could be Jared Kushner, who has some business dealings with Russia. But I mean, seriously? Come out and name them, point the finger and say, I'm an American patriot and you're a traitor to this country. Instead of this nonsense. Propaganda and lies. Continuing. Comey agrees to testify in open hearing before Senate Intelligence Committee. Okay? So, fired, disgraced former FBI Director James Comey, who both the Democrats and Republicans said needed to be fired because of his handling of the Hillary Clinton email server investigation and 10 other scandals that I reported on previously. And that's just scraping the tip of the iceberg with this guy's heading up of the FBI. So let's hear his open testimony about his memo that supposedly Trump tried to obstruct justice by asking him to lay off his investigation into General Flynn and the Russians. When he's on record May 3rd testifying to Congress that no such thing ever happened. Continuing. White House looking at ethics rule to weaken special investigation sources. And again, it's unnamed sources. So again, if these people are such patriotic Americans and think that Donald Trump and his administration are such traitors working with Russia, step forward, claim the spotlight as an American hero, and look in the camera and say it, or shut the hell up already. Continuing. Rolling Stone, Matt Taibbi. He's a liberal journalist, but he points out a lot of wrongdoing by the government and the banking system. And I gotta respect him for that. And he asked, how did Russiagate start? Amid the chaos of James Comey's firing, new questions about the timeline of his fateful investigation. Where is the evidence? Let's go now to Alan Dershowitz, a big liberal attorney, asking where's the crime on Tucker Carlson.
Well, Democrats like Congresswoman Maxine Waters have hailed the appointment of a special counsel to investigate Donald Trump's presidential campaign, saying it's the latest step toward his inevitable impeachment. But one of the country's top lawyers is not convinced. Longtime Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz says the special counsel could vindicate Trump rather than bringing about his downfall. Here it is.
Me the criminal statute. I still sit here as a civil libertarian. I don't want us ever to become what Stalinist Russia became when Stalin was told by Lavrenti Beria, show me the man and I'll find you the crime. What is the crime?
Professor Dershowitz joins us tonight. Professor, I was really struck by this. I don't think of you as a big Trump supporter.
I'm not.
But you asked a question.
He's a civil libertarian. He's a old school liberal. I mean, how could you disagree with that? Continuing. Here's the real media, Mike Cernovich. Trump's media strategy is failing. Here's how to fix it. And he goes through and says, it's a full-on war with the mainstream media, the lying criminal propagandists. And yeah, Trump supporters don't read the New York Times, so why defend against it? It's a waste of time and energy. And we need to go on full-on info war attack against them. Trump supporters don't read the Washington Post or New York Times. Know what I mean? So, yeah, we need a full-on media war against them. They should hire Mike Cernovich as the media guy in the White House to counter this. And then this right here, you've got Huma Abedin, Anthony Weiner, and former President Bill Clinton. Where's the media outrage? Weiner now convicted child abuser, pedophile, teen sexter. Where's the media outrage about all this? Why don't they disavow? Why aren't there endless calls for disavow of Anthony Weiner from the mainstream media, as they did to Donald Trump, asking him 15 times to disavow David Duke, who Donald Trump doesn't even know? Okay? So it's another example of the utter hypocrisy and complete disdain for any type of logic and truth from the lying criminal mainstream media. Disavow Anthony Weiner. I disavow him. I don't even know the guy. I hate his freaking guts. But his, I guess his wife did. She filed for divorce. But where's all the calls for all these liberals that love Anthony Weiner to disavow him? There are none. Because all this made up fake news stories about the leaks that we don't even know if are true are covering up the biggest political scandal of today. May 19th, 2017. Anthony Weiner convicted or pled guilty to. I mean, that's convicted. Convicted himself. Pled guilty to sexting scandal. Let's get to that now. Huma Abedin attorneys files for divorce papers after Anthony Weiner pleads guilty. And so he had to plead guilty before Huma Abedin, obviously a Muslim agent, an agent of Islam, working against the United States with her criminal boss, Hillary Clinton, globalist scumbags. The humiliating downfall of Anthony Weiner, Senator Chuck Schumer's protege, embarrassing his mentor, but disgraced himself. Where's Chuck Schumer? Chucky Schumer, the lead Democrat in the Senate. Where's his big denouncement of Anthony Weiner? Oh, Anthony Weiner is Chuck Schumer's protege. You got to start in politics working as an intern for Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer when he was in Congress in 1985. So where did he learn how to be a pervert and sex teenagers and a lot worse stuff than that? Well, he was a protege of Chucky Schumer. That should give you some kind of idea about who these people are. Disgusting criminal scum of the earth. Anthony Weiner pleads guilty to teen sexting case. Wife Huma Abedin files for divorce. I have a sickness. Yes, they all have a sickness. They're satanic devil worshippers that hate you and your family and want you dead. They're sadistic psychopaths who will lie, cheat, and steal and do anything they can to destroy America. Ex-Congressman Anthony Weiner pleads guilty to sexting teen girl. Again,